Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera. I'm Nurul Nafisa binti Muhammad Yusri would like to presenting my individual assignment in case of law for cybersecurity for Li Qiyan and Anor EBIT Solution Network VE1.com syndrome berhad. Correct. Fact of the case. The respondent at all material times was a company incorporated in Malaysia on 20th October 1999. The respondent claimed that it was one of the pioneers in internet marketing seminar and internet marketing coaching in Malaysia and Hong Kong, and was also an expert in search engine optimization. The respondent claimed that the materials, information, and method used in the seminars and courses are the result of effort and skills of the respondent. The respondent also claimed that it owns rights over all creations by one Netcom Sdn Bhd and had declared its ownership of all, which is first, course documents, DVDs, printed materials, audio, video, and also all information related to the company. For your information, the first and second appellant are sisters and also partners of a business known as EBIT Solution Network with an address at Bandar Bukit Tinggi in Klang, Selangor. EBIT Solution Network had published an advertisement in a local Chinese daily offering internet marketing seminars and coaching with similar modules and materials as that being used by respondents. The appellants, on the other hand, refuted the respondents' claim and contended that the respondents' copyright works are not original and are not capable of protection under the Copyright of 1987. The respondent was the owner of the said copyright works at the material times, and the appellant had infringed the said works and alleged by the respondent. The appellants, being dissatisfied with the said decision, filed a notice of appeal. Issues of the case. Okay, first, the court is left in doubt as to the truth of the copy of the works annexed. It is more so when all the exhibits annexed or exhibits that to the said statutory declaration do not have the endorsement of or certification by the Commissioner for Oath. The respondent should have made effective efforts to provide sufficient proof in evidence to show that it was the owner of the said works, either by way of a valid affidavit or statutory declaration under S42 of the Act, or by calling material witnesses to testify in court during trial and produce all the relevant documents in relation to the works in question. In the present case, the respondent had failed to discharge that burden of proof, and for your information, those documents were not even tendered and produced in court when the marker or deponent. Judgment of the case. In order to get the benefit of the section, the plaintiff must or shall comply with all the necessary requirements under the said section. Namely, first, the affidavit or statutory declaration must be made before any person having authority to administer an oath. Second, it must be made by or on behalf of any person claiming to be the owner of the copyright. Third, a true copy of the work must be annexed to the affidavit or declaration. And last but not least, if the deponent or maker of the affidavit is authorized to act on behalf of the owner of the copyright, he is required to produce such authorization in writing. If the plaintiff fails to comply with any one or more of the above requirements, the affidavit or statutory declaration in question cannot be accepted as admissible prima facie evidence in the proceedings or Otherwise, the plaintiff will get an unfair advantage or undue benefit not stipulated by the section. Alright, for the above information, just the information, declaration affirmed by Ms. Tan Mei Yi on 15th November 2011 has failed to comply with the requirement that there was no certification that the copy of the work and its director was the true copy of the work, and the effect is that a true copy of the work was not in the director. Okay, the failure to comply with the said prerequisite of this section rendered the affidavit or statutory declaration defective and invalid for the purpose of S42. Analysis and critique. First, we are of the view that the learned judge had erred in her decision to admit the statutory declaration tendered by the respondent under S42 of the Copyright Act 1987 and to allow the respondent's claim against the appellant. Second, we therefore allow the appeal with cost of 20,000 here and below to the appellants. We also make an offer that the deposit be refunded to the appellants. Third, any person who is authorized to act on behalf of the owner of the copyright or performer for the purposes of subsection shall be required to produce such authorization in writing. Fourth, the original or true copy of the copyright work must form part of evidence during trial. By leaving the documents in Part C of the bundles of documents as disputed documents and not produced in court during trial, the documents are not in evidence. It is insufficient just to make the documents available for inspection throughout the trial as suggested by the learned judge in her grounds of judgment. The documents must be properly tendered and produced as admissible evidence in court during trial. Alright, alternatively, the defendant may argue that even if you do have a copyright, his or her use of the work constitutes fair use, a common defense to infringement. Only the copyright holder can enforce his or her own copyright. So if the copyright holder is the company that you work for, your only resource for infringement is convincing the company to sue the infringer. Having copyright in your work allows you to exploit your creation and exclude other people from using it. If someone uses your copyright materials without your permission, you then have the right to take legal action against them and claim damage. So this is my reference. Alright, that's all for me. Thank you for lending your ears and have a nice day.